back to another episode of PMI Voices. I'm Annette Fontana.
And I'm Craig Reino, caffeinated, motivated, and ready for another fantastic episode.
There you go. Now, today we're going to have an incredible guest joining us shortly, but before we get started, a little quick note to our viewers. As many of you know, we normally film thanks to the generous hospitality of the Lyndhurst Moose Lodge 1421 on location. That's pretty much our home base. But with what is now being known as a blizzard cane nor'easter rolling across Long Island, we decided to put safety first for our guests, our crew, and our hosts. Because, who wants to hurt this face? And honestly, anyone who would have had to hold down the fort at the lodge, I mean, seriously, they are talking 2 feet plus, 60-mile-an-hour winds. And so that's why we're doing it this way.
Absolutely. So we're switching gears and we're joining you from the comfort and safety of Microsoft Teams. Hey, flexibility is the name of the game when it comes to project management. So here we go.
There we go. That absolutely, man. So now, before we get started, let's catch up on what's been going on with us, because after all, we are human. I mean, we are human, Craig, right? I wonder about that sometimes.
I can speak for myself. I know I'm human.
Really? What? I mean, I'm as human as the next person. Most of them. I mean, I just spend a lot of time out in the woods, clearing my head, hiking my time, enjoying nature, talking things out with it, and getting unsolicited advice from the, locals.
Locals, huh?
Yeah. The locals of the woods, trees, moss, the occasional judgmental squirrel. Listen, those guys, they have strong opinions, Craig. I'm telling you.
Of course they do. And here I was thinking adrenaline-based hobbies are the chaos in this podcast.
No, listen, I'm going to tell it to you straight out. And everybody online watching, listen, if a squirrel throws shade at you, you better perk up and have your ears ready. It's just survival.
Not really convinced that's how nature works, but sure. Anyway, next topic. So, Annette, did you catch the Super Bowl a couple weeks ago?
I mean, kind of. I was more glued to the Puppy Bowl, I mean, the Bills weren't in the Super Bowl, so I rooted for the underdogs. In this case, literally with the Puppy Bowl. But no, I watched the game mostly for the commercials.
Yeah, that's pretty much the speed I'm at. The commercials were definitely better than the game. I mean, the only real competition was how many snacks I could fit on my plate. So
I love it. Now, it's kept me busy since the last time we sat together. Surviving that snowpocalypse we got hit with last month. And now, here we go again, gearing up for round 2. I mean, honestly, At this point, Long Island weather really needs to calm down and pick a hobby that isn't trying to freeze us out.
That is for sure. The second you said snowpocalypse, I got flashbacks. I swear I still have PTSD from the last snowpocalypse. And, let's run that back. I'm still looking at snow piles out there and watching this now already coming down early. It's a good thing I tuned up my snowblower yesterday.
There you go. See, preparedness. I'm all about preparedness. I mean,
Sorry.
No, don't apologize. I mean, you're probably rolling your eyes in your head. Nobody can see it. But I mean, the minute the snowflake hit the ground, you know me. I went into business continuity and disaster recovery mode. Planning for chaos is literally my love language. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I was really hoping that Murphy's Law was going to cut us a break. Prepare for everything, get it, and then get only an inch of snow.
Yeah.
But based on what I'm looking out the window now, nope. We're getting a sequel that nobody really asked for. And that's why we're here on Teams, the official safe haven platform for project managers and people who prefer not to be buried under a feet of weather drama.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Like I said, snowblower primed, shovels ready, ice melt stacked, and fortress water. Oh, goodness. Blankets, all the essentials. Plus, the real essentials, of course, cookies, chips, dip, and fully stocked liquor cabinet.
There you go.
How we're
I
really staying warm.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, listen, we can't forget emergency comfort food protocol. You got your grilled cheese with tomato soup,
Mhm.
beef and barley stew, and the crown jewel of winter survival, butterscotch schnapps in hot chocolate. I mean, if I'm going to go down, I'm going to go down warm and happy.
You are always prepared, Annette.
Hey, listen, in cybersecurity, the number one rule is always be paranoid, excuse me, because failure to prepare is preparing to fail.
I think I'm going to use that one. Paranoid might be a good future term, but I thought that was a Fontana thing.
Oh, no, 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 no. Listen, the Fontana motto is live in hope, die in despair. But that's just us being, quirky. Speaking about being prepared, today's guest knows all about leadership, transformation, building strong teams, and being prepared for anything that doesn't go exactly right. And we're going to bring her in right now. We are thrilled to welcome Eliana Boyd, Vice President of the Programs at PMILIC and a Senior Manager at Liqueo. Eliana, welcome.
Thanks, Annette. Appreciate. Happy to be here.
You're holding down in this storm well so far, I'm hoping.
As good as it gets. We're just gonna see how it goes.
We were talking about it earlier, and we were just saying, as long as the snacks are prepared, and since you've got little ones, make sure they're extra good snacks.
Yeah, we're just waiting for that snow day announcement. Let's fingers crossed.
I'm sure that's going to come soon enough. But let's get started with your journey. Now, how did you get started in project management, and what inspired you to pursue that as a career?
So I actually was more on the technical side for many years, and I wore a lot of continuous improvement hats, if you will, in the sense of I didn't have the project management title, but I was managing smaller initiatives in all my roles. At about 2020, I started my job at Liqueo, which is a asset and wealth management consultancy firm, and they were expanding in the U.S. And in that, one of the role I was like the 11th employee globally and one of the first in the US. And that
Wow.
role that I was coming into was project manager. And so that was the first official point in my entire career where I had the title. So from there, and that was managing about 8 to 10 upgrades at the time for one of our clients. So at that, about 2 years later, I decided, well, I think it's time that I get certified. Just kind of just credibility and reputation. At that point, I was working on on becoming or being known as a subject matter expert, and one of them is ensuring that I had that certification. So I've been officially certified about over 3 years now. Um, and my journey next is to get certified as a programs manager. So
Very
that's
cool.
so that's what's coming up.
That's very cool. I mean, you've handled some pretty fast turnarounds in your career, it sounds like. So, onboarding into new work streams and delivering results quickly is something that's not foreign to you. Now, just curious, what helps get you up to speed when you're stepping into a brand new project?
So that's something quite we get that question a lot as you're coming in. So as a consultant, we're consistently going into a new project. And so you have to take a step back. And it's almost like you're learning the technical piece, or you're coming in with that experience, and then you have to take it all in, right? See it all the processes in order for you to understand like what the direction you're going to take. Um, so that's typically like your day one that I do. So the lay of the land to ensure like uh, what approach I'm gonna have to take for that project, and that changes consistently. So I'm not necessarily one approach to one project may be completely different to another, um, and that I've had to learn just to
Mm,
as a consultant is something you're sort of placed in that role frequently, and the project may last a year, it may last a week, or it may last 6 months. So um, that speed that's absolutely necessary. So it's almost like a brand new slate each time. So each time I have to adapt and then also learn from what could have been better in another project and just continuously improve.
very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, I hear you about that continuous improvement. I great theme, and if I could switch gears a little bit, with you being the VP of programs for our chapter, that's a huge influence. What excites you the most about that role?
Yeah, so I laugh a little bit because it's almost like I took, I went, what's that phrase when you get thrown in the deep end? I just kind of went swimming
Here,
with the shark a little
there
bit.
you
Absolutely.
go.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Um, I had decided at that point, when I saw the announcement that a program as a VP was needed for the Long Island chapter, at that point I had taken a position that I wanted to be more involved in the project management field. And one way to do that was to be involved locally. So that's why I chose number one, the Long Island chapter. And then number two, um, I was interested in curating how that journey would look for myself, um, which might tell you a lot about me. As far as so as VP of programs, we have to select how that journey looks for members, and I thought being involved in that would be really interesting for me, and it's definitely outside my comfort zone. So it's being put in the position to drive direction. So that it is a little bit nerve-wracking, but just took it head on. So. And I would say, in addition to that, it was also networking with other like-minded individuals aside from, my personal life where I'm kind of engaged with day-to-day PTA. So um, I thought it
So
would
you
be a
went, so
good
you went, so
shift.
you went for a glutton for punishment and decided to get into more.
That's how it goes. Go big or go home.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. Your point about being baptized by fire, if I can use that phrase, is a really great one. I feel that, and also even about being able to locally influence our folks is a wonderful option. How nowadays are you dealing with like all these technology shifts, whether it be AI or any other ways that technology has affected your role?
So I have definitely embraced it. So AI has definitely taken a shift on how my day-to-day looks, as a tool to leverage my productivity. And what I mean by that is, even as something as small as preparing for a meeting, an AI tool is there to do that. Note taking in meetings and such is now done by AI tools. So it's definitely increased my productivity, and also potentially also allowed me to think differently as far as an approach in a meeting, or um, because usually you may have like this tunnel vision when you're in a meeting, and the AI tools may open your eyes to something else and then allow you to think a little bit differently. So I do there is an emphasis on AI, and that's um, the direction that I've seen it impact me on my day to day. Yeah.
That's really, really a great answer, because one of the things that we've talked about in chapter meetings with this is the balance of understanding what AI is effective for and how you can use it to your best effort. And that's a perfect example. I like the way when you were saying think differently, and how AI helps you to think differently, because it is not doing the thinking for you, but it's helping you focus on what you need for direction. And that is a great plus for
Yeah,
those of us trying to embrace it.
I definitely would agree to that. I'm coming to, I call the AI to my analyst sometimes, uh, where I'm prompting a scenario, and then I'll ask it to give me different uh, views or different solutions rather than just one. So the prompting piece has definitely been something that I've taken courses on and had to kind of understand that it's not just like asking a question. So and there's still a lot more to learn. So I'm definitely keeping an open mind to that my day to day may look a little bit different in a year. Um, but yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about your work at Liqueo. Oh, by the way, thanks for correcting me on that, Eliana, because I should have asked before, but what am I? I just only live a few blocks away from you. Spoiler alert, we're in the same town. But seriously, um, obviously your work revolves around transformation and empowering various teams. So, what's your philosophy when it comes to leading teams through a major change?
So I would thanks for that question. It's actually really complex question, but I'll what I mean by that is because you can approach leading in many different ways, but for me, it's people first always, and having a clear approach rather than complexity. So
Mhm.
what I mean by that is, if you focus on building trust, and ensuring that your team understand the why as to why that transformation is happening, you're able to build trust and and also allow folks to do their best work. And then what I mean by clarity is just having clear roles, clear goals, clear expectations rather than complexity around tasks and roles and such. So just simple and transplant parent plan.
That's a fantastic philosophy, and that's a great way to manage a workflow. Speaking of which, since you do map workflows and redesign processes, and you've been cleaning up some pretty complicated operational environments in your time, from what I understand between conversations we've had, when you look at a messy process for the first time and you just like your head explodes, it's like, oh my God, what is this? How do you decide where you're going to begin with something like that?
Yeah, that's a that's a very good question. And what I would say to that is sort of understanding why you're there is number one. So the scope. And then I take more of a bottoms up approach and understanding processes, understanding people, and mapping that, and then seeing how that will look after the transformation so that folks have a clear view on the impact and how it'll affect their day to day, really.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate that. It's that resembles a lot of things, even in my own role. And it's funny, you were talking before about things like, I'll call it racy. I'm probably known as the racy guy around my shop, or business transformation, or maybe both. But let's not about me. as far as, shaping the people around you and including our community here with PMI, how has your involvement now with PMI shaped or enhanced your work life?
Oh, that's actually a really good question. And I stopped because it's actually has had an impact more than I thought it would. So what I mean by that, there was a interesting feedback that I received on a project recently that you don't necessarily have to be in a position um, of influence to be influential. And because I've been put in that leadership position at PMI, it sort of naturally happens now. So what I mean by that is uh, I could be in a technical project and then I somehow, which is a really good thing, but sometimes it,
Mhm.
your influence does shape how the project goes. And I didn't realize that. And it's definitely been, so I would say it's definitely been a positive impact. Um, and I have to build on it. So, with that being said, taking that with PMI and driving the vision, you sort of naturally you're now building those skills to lead without you realizing. And then when you're putting on a day to day, those same qualities are now translating to my day to day, which is obviously really fantastic. Um,
No, that's a wonderful point, and I couldn't agree more. Right, leadership isn't a role; leadership is a mindset, if you ask me. And to that end, with the those influences and the scenarios we're talking about here, how do you on the day to day make sure you're thorough and make sure things don't slip through the cracks?
Well, my number one thing to do is to ensure that number one, you have your scope, you know exactly what you're doing, and why you're there. And then number two is to document,
Mm.
document, and document, um, so that nothing does fall through the tracks. But by having these conversations and putting people first, you'll be able to see. Um, and understand if something has fallen through the cracks. So via status update calls and such and conversations, um, that's how I manage that.
That's fantastic. That really is, because that also, when you talk about, having, talking to the people and having, more, the people on your project for certain roles and certain working on their strength is definitely a part of inclusion and diversity when it becomes into any kind of project. And those are non-negotiable in project teams these days. So I know you think it's important because we've discussed that, but why do you think it's important? And share with the audience, if you can, what project managers can do to foster these more inclusive environments.
It's a hot topic there, Annette,
Yeah,
around diversity
I am the
inclusion.
queen of hot topic. Not only just the conversation, but also the stores in the mall. So go for it.
Well, so what I would say is that a well-rounded project manager is naturally inclusive. And what I mean by and empathetic. So what I mean by that, and that's what even PMI, the Institute also pushes towards, that you are an emotionally intelligent. So in that, a diverse set of individuals will help you see things differently and have different viewpoints. And in including those viewpoints, you'll be able to uh, have better decision making, and
Mhm.
also everyone feels heard, um, and feel as if they're part of the decision making. So, and again, it's being able to have that well-rounded mentality, and that could be in many different facets um, within project management. Whether that's culturally, whether that is your project management style, keeping
Mhm.
an open mind, definitely it's even statistically known that you have better results. So
That's fantastic. That's definitely showing that the level of types of people you've worked with include not just the members of your team, but you've also worked with, and I think we all can say that the three of us can say we've all worked with different kinds of stakeholders. We have our technology people, we have our business people, we have our operations, compliance, the executive management, and sometimes you're dealing with a lot of different flavors in that soup. So, what have you learned through your entire tenure of keeping everyone aligned and communicating well? Is there a secret recipe that you use, or is it down to just basic principles? Give us your take on that.
would say there's two main things I learned in my journey. The first is to always be prepared for a meeting, no matter how small it is or quick it may be. Just to have that focus time, so that you come prepared to the meeting and know what you want to come out of that meeting with.
Mhm.
And the second is adapting. So um, not being stuck in your own mental and what you envision the meeting to go, or even conversations or a project, but being able to adapt. Um, that is something that I've had to learn, and still learning. Consistent adapting on a daily basis.
Makes sense. I had said at the beginning of this monologue, for this episode, that failure to prepare is preparing to fail. So preparation really comes into that. And I joke around about being the improv person in this podcast, but being able to shift gears automatically and improvise when you are looking at a set of skills or steps or formulas, it becomes a very valid part of project management. You have to think on your feet. And sometimes you have to make that pivot that nobody was expecting. And it becomes a vital point of a process for project management.
Yeah, and to that point, with the pace of change and acceleration, and I guess there's a bit of a theme in my lines of questions typically. Where do you see, excuse me, project management profession heading in the next few years, Eliana?
Uh, Thanks, Craig. So I touched a little bit on it before, but I definitely see AI being embedded into the project management function. What I mean by that is, um, in adapting, we have to adapt to how things are changing. So with that is AI. And so to be a better, or reinventing yourself as a project manager, is to use what's available. And that's so I definitely do see AI taking a more of a day-to-day role, which it already has in my case. Um, but I don't see it taking over, if you will, because we still need to have the fundamentals as project managers. Um, but yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. As a matter of fact, because we've covered a lot of ground in this conversation, and for me, one of the challenges is, and what are some ideas or thoughts you have about bringing all of that together in order to keep yourself organized?
So as far as organization is concerned, there's something that I've uh, sort of changed recently and found myself doing, but now it's taken a more structured path, if you will, and
Mhm.
that's compartmentalizing or time blocking. Um, and so if my focus time is on PMI, um, Long Island chapter for the next 2 hours, and that's what my focus is going to be.
Sure.
And similarly, when it comes to deep focus at work as well, it involves a lot of time blocking and time management in order to stay organized. And in that, it's also a mindset. You also have to force yourself to stop interacting with everything else around you in order to focus on that. So that may be as simple as silencing my phone or just putting myself out as if I'm in a meeting. But and just doing that, and as small as it may seem, has kept me organized, and helping balance a lot what's on my plate.
No,
We'll say that
that's a great, yeah.
other folks may not like it because typically, someone pings you and they want an answer right away. But I've
Yeah.
learned to say that it's okay to let the person know, or in that case, if you've stepped away from that, not to answer,
Sure.
obviously unless it's 911, but
Right.
Of course.
but it's been an intentional mindset that I've had to do.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. Yeah.
Yeah, so do I. And we've already talked about AI, and I'm glad you talked about putting yourself in focus mode, which for those of us who know it is actually something you can do through your Microsoft programs, have focus time put on your calendar. This way you can have that blinders on type of sight. And I'm just wondering, outside of what we've already talked about, if there is any other kind of tech innovation or tool that you think is having a big impact on project management or project managers today.
Well, I am a very big user of Microsoft tools. So they've definitely evolved to that. So my analyst is definitely Microsoft Copilot.
Yeah,
I
there
know
you go.
there's a tool.
I was going to say, let's get those reward points, Microsoft. We're working with you.
And that's my day-to-day use. I do know that other project management tools may have AI embedded into it, but I haven't explored those tools to help improve. A lot of it is to do with subscriptions and what you can and cannot do at work. So, but yeah, that's my main focus.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Now, on the flip side of this, how do you, Eliana Boyd, wanted to sound official there, how do you personally balance big picture thinking with detailed work that project management often demands? Now, it sounds like you already got a good feed on that with focus time, putting out time for yourself that if, let's say I'm PMI centric, we're going to be PMI for 2 hours. If we're going to go Liqueo, we're going to be doing this from this time to this time, all that. Is there anything else that you do to help balance yourself out that way?
I would say it also requires, if you can, structuring your day in that manner. So if you have control of meetings, you can uh, structure your way in that you're either having meetings in the morning or in the afternoon, that kind of thing. That has definitely helped as well, and being able to manage time in that way. I
Time
myself,
management's big. Time
Oh, yeah.
management's big because we all feel like we can do everything all at once.
well, that's also been another shift in my thinking. I used to think that I had to do everything to try to get everything done, when really, in small increments is what has worked for me.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I think to that point, right? Looking back over your career across operations, consulting, compliance, and all the things you have mentioned, what would you highlight that made you stronger as a project leader?
Well, that's we've heard this before, is knowing the technical part of it.
Mhm.
I had to, in order to be a project manager in my field, I have to know what the technical part is so that I can take a step back and say, right, well, perhaps this is the direction we should be taking. So that's been the first part of it. And then the second part has been also working with portfolio managers who were very within in finance that were very, we used to call them eagle eyes, making sure that you work was thorough and you knew your numbers, and you knew that if you presented something that you were prepared to give an explanation as to what you were presenting. So I would say that's definitely helped build a foundation towards being a better project manager.
Fantastic.
That is
Thank you.
absolutely fantastic. Okay. As Annette puts on her evil smile. In our episode with the President Bernie Blanchard, we put him through a lightning round, and he survived mostly.
Barely. I'm not sure he's recovered yet.
Oh, I think he handled it very well. But naturally, we want to give you the same experience. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the lightning round.
You're doing the sound effects now.
Well, I figured I'd throw that in.
Oh, I was
So
going to leave
now-
that in there. Sorry.
You're gonna leave it in there. Okay, we can do that. Okay,
Yeah.
So here we go, Eliana. Quick answers only. No overthinking. No pressure. And Craig promises not to judge your responses.
Much.
I'm a little nervous, guys.
And just to let everybody know on the audience, the same as with the last time we did this, Eliana has no idea what I'm about to ask her. So this is where she truly panics. No, it's going to be fine, honey. And these are just really quick, off the top of your head type of things. And you know the funny part? Because you and I have gotten to know each other well, I think I may know a couple of these. So I'm trying not to answer on your behalf.
Please do.
No. Okay, here we go. And start. Favorite weekend ritual?
Sleeping in.
Go-to comfort food?
Pizza.
Coffee order?
Iced caramel latte.
See, I knew that one. Sunrise or sunset?
Sunset.
Messy desk or neat?
Messy.
So that I'm taking that as messy. Favorite simple pleasure?
Reading.
Your first job ever?
Old Navy.
Your most used emoji?
The eye roll.
And I did that one too. City life or nature?
City life.
And lastly, my love, what one word would describe you today?
Family oriented.
Very nice.
Awesome. That is awesome, sweetheart. That was absolutely fantastic. Listen, I want to thank you for joining us. And before we let you off the hook, do you have any final message for our listeners or watchers or however anybody's taking this podcast in?
Well, first, I want to thank you, Annette and Craig, for inviting me. It was definitely outside my comfort zone, but that's what I've been doing for the since I took on, just putting myself in the position where putting myself in front of a camera, in front of audiences, and just getting that exposure. So thank you. What I would say is, as far as project management, our chapter, we're definitely taking a journey. So as far as personal development, understanding the tools in project management, and then looking at a project manager holistically in organizations. So that is the journey we're taking our members this year. So I welcome folks to, to attend our chapter meetings. And then I would say on a personal note, come by to get to know us a little bit better.
Love it. Absolutely love it. That's the best
Absolutely.
point. That's the best message. I want to thank you so much, Eliana, for joining us.
Thank you so much.